Authorities say 99 people are currently unaccounted for after a 12-story Miami Beach apartment building collapsed overnight, killing at least one as hundreds of fire and rescue workers continue to scour through tons of rubble in search of any survivors. Officially, only one woman has been confirmed dead and at least 10 people injured after the Champlain Towers South beachfront building collapsed at about 1:30 a.m. this morning in Miami's Surfside neighborhood. Authorities say 53 people had been accounted for by Thursday afternoon, but 99 who are believed to have lived in the building are still missing. It was unclear whether any, or all of them, were inside at the time of the collapse. 35 people were rescued from the damaged building, including a young boy, who was photographed being pulled from the rubble in the early stages of the rescue operation. 2 of those people, including the woman who has since died, were taken to hospital. Rescue teams are currently using machinery, dogs, and sound technology to help trawl the wreckage for any more survivors. Authorities say many more people may be dead or remain trapped under the rubble and warn the recovery efforts could last an entire week. Sources told NBC that Search a Dog had tracked 2 potential survivors as of Thursday afternoon. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis had earlier said rescue teams had made contact with some survivors but did not elaborate on where they were located or if they had been rescued. Right now, we have the fire rescue. They are in search and rescue mode. They are trying to identify survivors. I know they have made contact with some, and I know they are doing everything they can to save lives, he said. Horrifying surveillance footage, obtained by WSVN, captured the moment the building collapsed, sending a huge cloud of debris into the air. DeSantis and other authorities said earlier that they were bracing for bad news in terms of survivors given the level of destruction. The building has literally pancaked, Surfside Mayor Charles Burkett said. That is heartbreaking because it doesn't mean to me that we are going to be as successful as we want it to be in finding people alive. Authorities say the building was substantially full when it collapsed. Of the building's 136 apartments, 55 were destroyed. The tower, which is located 1 block away from where Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump currently live, has a mix of seasonal and year-round residents. Mayor Burkett said the building keeps a log of guests staying but does not keep track of when owners are in residence. Hundreds of people were gathering at a family reunification center set up nearby as they awaited news on their family and friends. The president of Paraguay's sister-in-law and her family, as well as a celebrity plastic surgeon from Argentina, are among those still missing. Sofia Lopez Moreira, her husband Luis Pettingill, and their 3 young children are still missing, Paraguay's foreign ministry confirmed. Moreira is the sister of President Mario Abdo Benitez's wife Silvana. The family owned a condo in the building. Also missing is a famed Argentinian plastic surgeon, his partner, and their newly adopted 6-year-old daughter. That surgeon, Andres Galfresconi, 45, was visiting Miami with his partner Fabian Nunes, 55, and their daughter Sofia, 6, to receive their COVID-19 vaccines. Authorities have not yet determined what caused the building to collapse but confirmed that renovations had been underway on the roof in recent weeks. Burkett said it was unlikely that the roof work had anything to do with the collapse, instead describing it as a catastrophic failure of the building. It's hard to imagine how this could have happened, Burkett said. Buildings just don't fall down. There's no reason for this building to go down like that unless someone literally pulls the supports out from underneath. Burkett suggested that potential causes could be the result of the foundations being washed out or a sinkhole. The Miami-Dade police have assumed control of the investigation as to why the building collapsed. The collapse, which appeared to affect one leg of the L-shaped tower, tore away walls and left a number of homes in the still-standing part of the building exposed in what looked like a giant dollhouse. Bunk beds, tables, and chairs could be seen still left inside the damaged apartments. Air conditioner units were hanging from some parts of the building where wires now dangled. Photos and video from the scene show the collapse affected half the tower. Piles of rubble and debris surrounded the area just outside the building. The debris from the collapse coated cars up to 2 blocks away with a light layer of dust. Barry Cohen, 63, said he and his wife were asleep in the building when he first heard what he thought was a crack of lightning. The couple went onto their balcony, then opened the door to the building's hallway to find a pile of rubble and dust and smoke billowing around. I couldn't walk out past my doorway, said Cohen, the former vice mayor of Surfside. A gaping hole of rubble. He and his wife eventually made it to the basement and found rising water there. They returned upstairs, screamed for help, and were eventually brought to safety by firefighters using a cherry picker. Cohen said he raised concerns years ago about whether nearby construction might be causing damage to the building after seeing cracked pavers on the pool deck. Jennifer Cart was asleep in a neighboring building when she was awakened by a loud boom and her room shook. She thought it was a thunderstorm but checked the weather app on her phone and saw none. The building's fire alarms went off, and she and her family went outside and saw the collapse. It was devastation, Cart said. People were running and screaming. Nicholas Fernandez was waiting early Thursday for word on close family friends who lived in the collapsed section of the building. Since it happened, I've been calling them nonstop, just trying to ring their cell phones as much as we can to help the rescue to see if they can hear the cell phones. Santo Medjel, 50, told the Miami Herald his wife called him from the building, where she was working as an aide for an elderly woman. She said she heard a big explosion. It felt like an earthquake, Medjel told the newspaper. He said she later called him and said rescuers were bringing her down.